Afternoon, Neville. How are you today?
Good, thanks, Peter. Yourself?
Neville, I'm absolutely fantastic. Thanks. Thank you very much for agreeing to take part in the Business Spotlight. It's great to have you on board, Neville. Could we start? Could you tell me a little about yourself and your business, please?
Neville Bell, Managing Director of Solmatix. I'm 40 years of age and started off life as being an electrician and grew up through the industry and worked into a role of being an estimator for an electrical company and progressing across into the electronic security division and more in the commercial and building up a portfolio of commercial customers for a company that was very predominant in the financial sector and arrived whenever my cousin and his wife commenced life with Solmatix in 2008 and in 2011 I officially joined Solmatix as the sales manager and was part of the growth and success of Solmatix whenever it started life in mainly the domestic industry with the grants and incentives that were available in the market, and over a short time we grew Solmatix into being the leading company, and it's not just a business to me, it's a way of life, and it's very fitting to the character, personality, and the here. And I'm a very competitive individual and all about here doing the right thing and having a very, if you want to say, product or installation that you can be proud of, and you here probably here in many regards it's like um you don't hide away from, to want to say, doing your best and seek for perfection, and I know it's here, it's a challenge, but that's right here. It has to be clean, it has to be level, it has to be right. It's not that you can't see it from my house type of attitude. It's all about here pristine, and they want to say strive for those results.
And so tell me, how long has Solmatix been in existence for?
It just turned its 16th birthday, believe it or not, yesterday. So it's been it started life in 2008, and it grew up, as I said, through the domestic chapter. And then we diversified the business very much into business to business, and then working with M&E companies and main contractors, both here and across the water and across the island of Ireland, with legislation and regulation driven solar. And today, with the change in energy prices, the reduction in cost of solar, it has been very much not only from meeting the carbon targets, but very much a cost effective and a payback and a very good return on customers' investment. So it's very much today all mainly about business to business with small, medium, and large energy users. Not forgetting about working with main contractors and M&E contractors with regulation driven solar, but also remembering, what was our core business of domestic. So, it is very much a blend and a mixture across all those different sectors.
And so in terms of your target market, you say, is it mainly B2B?
Mainly B2B today. That would be the majority of our business. Working from anywhere from Northern Ireland Water to Musgrave to large energy users like there's a number of companies across Northern Ireland that they demonstrate and show you their electricity bills, and you're shocked with actually the overhead and cost that's associated with energy. And in times gone by, electricity was cheap and it wasn't, people weren't as concerned about it. Now, with the, want to say, where electricity prices are today, coupled with where the solar price is in the market, because of whenever we first started life, when we first visited China back in 2010, everything was all manual. You looked into a massive warehouse where people were soldering silicon wafers on the backing sheets on the bonded panels and laminated glass, where today it's all robotic. So demand coupled with technology. The product is probably at its all-time low, and with demand in the market today, this product is slightly starting to increase. But it's never. I think today it has really came into its I want to say everything else is its own sort of place and time, where solar has really come into its own today, and of what the technology can demonstrate and provide output ways, coupled with the price point.
And what would you say has been your biggest lesson as a business owner so far?
I'd probably have to say patience, and from I'm very much about getting things done, and knowing and understanding. Just some things take time, and being patient for those things to take time, and knowing there's a right time to launch something, there's a right time to say something, but no one here. It's a bit like I'm not a card player, but it's just like you need to know when to play your card. It's a bit like a gambler song. You need to know when to hold them, and that's been the biggest lesson for me. And even today, the challenge where I go, you know what, we really need to get that done. And maybe some things you can act on, but other things you've just got to be patient. And you know what, I do see the bigger picture of this. I understand.
And what would you say, Neville, has been the biggest surprise so far in your business journey?
Mainly the ups and downs of the renewable sector, especially in Northern Ireland, because even with items good or bad outside of your control can make such an impact on the business, on the team. We grew a business from 0 to 6 million in a 5-year period, and had over 30 staff. And overnight, the market changed with the incentives available on the market, coupled with we've all heard of the RHI that was associated with biomass, and that put a lot of doubt into the market in regards to renewables. And overnight, we became a company from 6 million, over 30 people, to a company less than 10, and struggling to be able to keep the doors open, and even myself thinking, is this even wise? Are we doing the right thing? On having the faith that we are doing the right thing, that it will come again. It's a bit like, we were all in the midst of the COVID crisis, and nobody ever thought we could meet again. We'd be with our friends and family again, as we were told. But like those days of very much are here again, and here everybody's delighted, but you cast yourself back, like I seen last night on the TV about the NHS documentary and so on. You you forget about quickly what those days were like, and I suppose I look back at even in 2016, whenever we had to restructure our whole business around the fight for survival.
And what would you, are there any business leaders that you look up to, or that have influenced you, or that you admire?
I'm very much motorsport enthusiasm, and follow here. I'm active, and I've been active in the kart racing community, and sport for from my life time, and even my from my past father's lifetime. And Formula One would be a big thing I look to, and Toto Wolff would be one of those people that you say, if ever anybody's ever read the documentary or this book, he started out of selling candles at your local market to become a billionaire today, and not only just the money aspect of it that has rewarded him, but also it's just this pure today. People would ask them, I've read the podcast or listened to the podcast, I've watched say that documentary that he's done. It's all been all about building the team, successful team, being able to here give autonomy to the team, empower them. Those are all big I want to say words that people use, but it's really then here the enjoyment that's part of it, that builds a team that people can work together and enjoy coming to their place of work, and the people that they work with, and everybody generally get the best out of each other, and his part of that, coupled with the say the Nicky Lauder of the old school thinking. You know, he had a mentor there. He had also someone that was challenging. He had the teamwork and that complete drive from a team that started off uh, very much, if you want to say, amateur, and became, you want to say, should have been 8 times, you want to say, world champion, Lewis Hamilton, and how things transpired, but picked himself up again, and will rise to the top because that's the DNA.
Yeah, it's a great example. Toto Wolff, and I guess Toto Wolff today is a different animal than he would have been a couple of years ago whenever Mercedes were winning everything. So it'll be really interesting in this season as Hamilton's swan song. Can they put well, I'll ask you, you're a petrol head, you're really into all this. So can Mercedes put a package together that Hamilton can challenge?
It'll be interesting. I hear. I think their bit is their race to the top is, you want to say, they'll be back there. He'll he's the DNA and the characters are, and I think as people say, like, you can never hide the spots of a leopard and things, but I don't think it'll be as potentially as easy as it once was, but they'll be there and they'll be closer. I think it's that you don't give up. And you know, to say it's a bit like somebody said, you're like a weevil sort of thing. You just keep coming back, and no matter how much you knock it down, you know what I'm saying. That's you've got to have that DNA, and you've got to have that DNA in business and in competition. Pure that pure will to win.
Very good. I have to say, Neville, that's the first time I've heard a weeble being mentioned for a long time, but that brings back some childhood. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. There you go. It still sticks in the head. Very good. Very good. So, Neville, what gets you out of bed in the morning and really drives your passion for your business?
That pure bit of, you want to say, that competition, that will to win, that bit to be able to demonstrate, you know, who we are, what we have done, what we can do, but also being prepared to go that extra mile. And if there's something bespoke that you're here, you're up for the challenge. And here, if there's a mistake, you put your hand up, but it's putting it right. But probably for me, the biggest bit is being proud of the installation, the customer satisfaction, and to the end to be the bit like today, what we experience with Solmatix on the backdrop of those 16 years is that the pedigree that we have, with the customer experience, and we do little to no marketing, and it's all about referral for repeat business. And like, I'm so thankful in regards to that, because the referrals that we have, and people say it's like you're only as good as your last job, but you've got to keep doing it. You've got to be able to do. It's a bit like motorsport. If you can do one lap at that time, you can do 10, you can do 100. You've got to be consistent, and it's everything from the phone ringing, to and the service that's provided, to the handover, to the finished installation, and if there's a fault, the response and the reactive, that you know, you're only ever at the end of the phone for the service. You know, it's not like, you've provided the installation, you've paid us, and we're thankful, and that's the end of the relationship. We were all about the relationship continuing, and today it's very much, what we experience is repeat business of installations that we have installed from back in 2010 and earlier. And um, like last week, we haven't even put us. We were interviewed through 6 other companies for one prestige company here in Northern Ireland, and we were interviewed, probably the strongest and most robust I've ever had through the career in and lifetime in Solmatix. And we were brought in, before Christmas, to be told, and myself personally, that we've been successful, and I was very thankful. We haven't even put the installation on the commercial roof of the customer yet. On one weekend there a couple of weeks ago, he introduced us to another business, which I know of the business. I didn't know they're in the market for solar. And the more or less he had shared with them, like we've done our selection. The only people to talk to are Solmatix, and here's Neville's number. And within a week and a half, we obtained another £500,000 of business. That only from an introduction. And that to me is all like all I'm very relational as a person, and if I can't do, I will do. Yes, I can say no also, but at the same time, it was very much the relational part of what can we do, what is it that you would like us to do, but also be prepared to say, like, you've been advised to do this. I would say, we would say that, and this is why we would say that, and the reasons for it, and the cost benefits, or etc. etc. And that's the type of company that we are. We're flexible in regards to and the person that I am, that you're willing to say and put your, I'm not saying your neck on the line, but be able to demonstrate, here we've proved it. We're a safe pair of hands. We've been in business for 16 years. We're the strongest part we've ever been, and the industry is now, I want to say, in a different chapter of its life. Whenever I remember first getting involved with my cousin and his wife for Solmatix, and people saying in our country, I want to say, townland, uh, are you guys crazy? And solar in this climate. And for a point in time, I did think I was crazy. And today, like, you only need to look about. You drive a short distance, you'll see solar and rooftops everywhere. And we've been a big factor in that. And it's great to have. I suppose I was at a presentation not that long ago, and somebody said, when you look back when you're 70, and if you had a grandson or daughter, what did you do, Granda? And think, what did you contribute to the environment? I thought, I've started life as an electrician and found myself in the renewable sector that ultimately is helping the environment, but also helping customers reduce, where it's overhead, whether it's carbon output. It's great to fall in the relationships that we have established within the market.
And what would be your desert island? If you had a podcast or book or both for a desert island, what would you be listening to or reading?
Probably that, I don't know if anybody's ever seen it, to build an unstoppable team. I've been in Solmatix for some 6 to 15 years. It wasn't I was there from the very start, and putting lights in the shed whenever it was created. I want to say a converted farm shed. But it's literally how to be able to build it now that it's sustainable beyond my lifetime. That was something that started off as a family, was acquired by another family. I recently, personally, with my family, if you want to say, brought it back into our Bell family name, but to be able to make sure it's put in place, and they want to say it has strong foundation and roots and core values that live on, and that's the bit that I'm working on today. People always say, is what's a 5 year plan look like, what's a 10 year plan look like. It's about having that it has a strong foundation, to be able to live on, that it doesn't take me pushing it, reminding others, and why are we doing this. It's like everybody's DNA that pumps around them doesn't need Neville to say, here, come on, we can do better, or where we do go on. Because at the minute I heard the comments saying it's unbelievable how busy we are, and I thought, here, I'm making it be that way because I'm a hungry individual and a driven individual. But at the same time, it's all that will to win. And as you said, on that desert island, it's been able to sit in that desert island and be uh, probably fulfill that, here others around are enjoying something that was once created, to be able to live on.
And if you could invite any three people to a dinner party, who would they be?
Uh, Probably, as we mentioned earlier, Toto Wolff, Michael Schumacher, and Ronnie O'Sullivan. Uh,
Okay, so snooker as well.
No, yeah, I've been a big, as I grew up as a child, I was very much into snooker. I played a lot of snooker on my uncle's table, only across the way on our family farm. And I've been thankful that I've been able to build a home on the farm, that I have a full-size snooker table in the house. It was the table that Alex Higgins won the world final on back in '83. So snooker's very much, and Ronnie O'Sullivan has been a wizard of the game, and I've read his book and the challenges of life of near not being, if you want to say, leaving the game altogether, but to come back and now be at the top of his game at here probably at the end of his career. And that, to me, like, you've got somebody that has started off with as Twitter Wolf started off with virtually nothing to grow to be a billionaire, and building a sustainable team on a winning team in Mercedes. But Michael Schumacher as probably a lifetime hero, as someone that here started into Ferrari, and what he accomplished in that era was beyond, I want to say, probably remarkable. If you watch the Schumacher film or documentary on Netflix, and sadly where his accident ended up, but he was just driven to stay in that garage 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock after qualifying, after racing, to say, here, what do we need to fix, change to make out a winning machine? And you've got that combination of three people of different DNAs to be able to. I think you'd need a long dinner evening for the likes of those three guys.
Very good. Great invites. So look, Neville, if you could go back in time and dish out some advice to your 18-year-old self, what sort of advice would you be dishing out?
Probably enjoy and take the time to look back at each milestone, because biggest strength, biggest weakness. I probably accept myself the personal challenge in regards to different things, where it was being aspiring to always be a director, to be a managing director, to be a business owner. I've always said here, keep just keep moving forward. But you don't at the time, and maybe it's just me, or maybe it's anyone, like with all different personalities, that they're able to reflect and look back and go, how did I get here? Who helped me to get here? And also take time for those people that were part of that career, to say here, if it wasn't for you or whatever, I wouldn't have been where it is, and been able to take time to spend time on it, and reflect on those, if you want to say, significant things that happen in your life, and not just take them all in your stride. I'm probably thinking, whenever even recently, whenever I'd acquired Solmatix back again in the Bell family, I was on to the next thing. I'd forgot about it within the day, and people said to me, "That's great," and to me, it was already old news. I was in my head, I was already doing it. I'd already done it, and that's a bit like I'd always aspired to be. When I say, to win the Irish kart GP, and whenever I won it, I thought I'd feel much different, and then I thought, here, I've won it once, I need to win it again, you know. And that's my DNA, and that's probably the bit where you say, here, give yourself a bit of advice. It's here, enjoy it while you're in it, instead of looking back and go, to what, that was good. It's like went went a honeymoon 6 years ago, and I'm looking back, and I said to myself, I remember wife saying, "What do you think?" And I said, "That's dead on." And she says to me, like, here, it's not dead on, it's more than dead on. And I went, that's just me, it's here. The other people would probably be like thinking, here, we're in this glamorous place, people would love to be here, and here's this guy saying, "Oh, it's dead on." I says, like, that's just me. As my wife will say to me, "Here, you're never happy." I says, "No, I am. I just keep searching."
Brilliant. And look, Neville, if somebody likes what they've heard and would like to reach out and maybe find out a bit more, what would be the best way for them to go about that?
Here, I'm one of those people that here, I can be contacted by here. Anybody like ring me there night. If I miss your call during the day, I normally ring you back. And probably for me, ringing me on the mobile is easiest. But probably at the moment with the activity that I have, if you send me an email, my email is just Neville Neville dot bell, and it's at Solmatix, and that's SOLMATIX.com. I'll get back to you. And there, I would love if anybody reaches out. Suppose I've been thankful for the people that have been, if you want to say, very much instrumental in my career. And if I can do something to help someone else in their career and as part of their journey in life, and any lessons or things, suppose people say to me whenever even someone recently said to me about Solmatix and acquiring it, and here that's a big undertaking. And I thought, I don't really think about it, no. And he says to me, but you're young. And I thought, yeah, I am. And he says, but look at the miles that you've traveled to get here. And I thought, here, it's only just begun. I want to say the sector is just evolving, the technology is just evolving. We've been in this, if I want to say, space for 16 years, but it's only getting going. And that's, if I want to say, I want to be able to help others that have, and be able to share here my knowledge, experience, relationships, friendships onto someone else.
Superb. Well, Neville Bell, it's definitely been a lot more than dead on speaking to you today. Thanks very much for your time and sharing your story. And I wish you all the best for the remainder of 2024 and beyond. Neville, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, Peter.